If I gave a fuck what y'all think I would be doing this? Welcome to the FMFU podcast, the podcast that's from me, for us. Vulgar but true, real and never fake. I'm your host, Reese, and I've got a lot of shit on my mind today, so let's get into it.
Come to the conclusion that people are really so self-absorbed and just have so much main character syndrome that they just really can't read the room when they're just really doing some weirdo shit. So last week, I take Mason to football camp and I'm on the bleachers enjoying some fresh air. Why one of either the moms or aunties sitting there in her chair blasting some Drew Hill loud as fuck from her phone with no headphones on? Now granted, my hearing is like my strength. So to me, like, this shit's loud as fuck. So at first I'm like, maybe it's only me bothered by this. Until she pulled her chair up next to this other woman, and the other woman gave her this look of disgust, like, bitch, if you don't turn that shit down. To all my people that walk around listening to music out loud or having a whole convo on speakerphone, where the fuck y'all headphones be at? Then for those, who be talking on speaker, be wondering the whole time why you kids be all in the conversation. Because them headphones don't be on. And then you wonder why they think they so grown now. Every time you talking, whether it's in the crib or in the car, them kids be ear hustling like a motherfucker. But anyways, happy Friday, people, and welcome to an all new exciting episode of the From Me For Us podcast. And today I want to express my sincerest gratitude to one of the greatest video game mascots of all time, Super Mario. Super Mario been my dog for as long as I can remember. My grandma had an original Nintendo at our house, so of course, this is what started the video game journey for me and my cousin on the Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers 2, and then, my favorite with Raccoon Mario, Super Mario Brothers 3. Mario been holding shit down since 88 and literally been saving Princess Toadstool, now Peach's ass, for forever. So after all the saving and being Mr. Nice Guy and getting her out of the castles and shit, why the fuck Nintendo put something out the other day saying that Mario and Peach are just good friends who look out for one another whenever they can? Now, of course, in a video game world, this doesn't really matter at all. But it makes me sad for my nigga Mario because this motherfucker goes through hell and high water for over 36 years just for the company to say he's friendzoned by this bitch. Of course there was outrage, but when I sit back and think about it, the shit that Mario does is some shit that a nigga who likes a girl but gets friendzoned would do. If Peach actually liked Mario, he probably wouldn't even be saving her ass anymore and would have probably moved on to the next bitch. But because he is friend-zoned and probably wants a piece, he keeps saving her ass, no matter how many times she get put up in the castle by King Koopa or Bowser. Is Peach really a hoe on the low, and Mario is a friend-zoned sucker for a hoe? Like, it reminds me of that video that came out a while ago. I forgot the comedian's name. He'd be like creating videos online, and shout out to him because this shit was funny, but he had this whole fucking skit where Peach was like, save me, Mario, and Mario wanted Luigi's help, and dude was dressed like Luigi and telling Mario like, no bro, that bitch is a hoe. I think this video even had Nintendo about to like file a lawsuit or some shit because it was just that fucking good. Shout out to Buddy again. I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but that shit was hilarious. I had that shit on repeat for probably about a week, like dead ass. But either way, my dog Mario gets no play because Peach friend zoned him, and now he'll never be able to get his beard wet on any of that moist Peach. Damn. Well, I guess since Mario can't get none, let's jump into some other news.
And now here's the news by A.O. Reese. Woo-hoo!
Speaking of getting their beard wet, y'all really think Dion blasting Carucci? So when he had surgery the other day, and I do want to say in all seriousness, thankful that he had successful bladder surgery, I think it was, because he had cancer on his bladder, and I think he's healthy now. So you always want to see our legends grow old and continue to thrive, right? But of course, the internet and the thing that caught everybody's eye was when this was posted on all of these social sites. And somebody said that it was an announcement that you beat cancer, but also a soft launch of your new relationship because Carucci was there in the room. And the thing that stood out to, I'm sure, not just myself, but others, and why everybody is assuming this, not just because she was there, but it was because she kept saying shit like, we are dealing with this. It made me think of some we a unit type shit. This isn't like when we found out the actress who plays Lauren in a Tariq show was DMX's granddaughter. Like, this isn't the same. Like, this looked like some real relationship shit. All I gotta say for my fellow internet folk out there, as long as you pick a side and stay on that side, then you good. If you giving Drea a pass for the Jalen Green stuff, then Dion need a pass as well. If you not giving Drea a pass, then you have a right to judge a little bit. Just make sure you stay on one side and we keep this shit somewhat equal, I guess. But anyways, so I found this clip the other day, and let me pull it up here. I want to play it for y'all real quick. Let's see if I can play the audio. Let's see if I can get this right. Hold on.
This is going to piss so many people off, but there's a popular saying on the Chinese internet says, even a top-tier man is just an average woman. Someone wrote, a man who doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't cheat, doesn't gamble, no criminal records, stable job, cooks, cleans, emotionally stable, respects others, kind to his family. Isn't that kind of a man so rare? But honestly, every one of my female friends meets that standards and more. So yeah, even the best man is just an average woman. Oh my gosh, Shakespeare could never. And it really makes me think of the double standard that society has for men and women, especially when it comes to parenting and marriage. If a man cooks for his wife, takes care of the kids, does the housework, I guarantee 95% of the comment section is gonna say, oh my god, you're such an amazing dad, husband material, best dad ever. I'm sure as a woman, I applaud guys like this. We love seeing guys being nurturing, being involved. We love more of that. But let's be real. Isn't it just a mom's regular everyday life? When moms do it, it's never appreciated, it's expected. But when guys do it, it's suddenly you're the best dad of the year. And we see this happens a lot. A woman needs to work twice as hard as a man to get the same position. And a guy can just does the bare minimum and still get praised. So what we need as a society is to raise the standards and stop letting the shitty ones get away with bare minimum. I know this is gonna be...
So I'm not gonna let that play again because we don't want to hear that shit again. I found that shit very interesting. Shout out to my man Tamar who commented on that shit. I was fucking dying. But trying to be mature about it, for the sake of the pod and the broadcast here. One thing I do want to say about that, and I say this as, a collective, right? I try to look at us as black men as a collective, a unit, what we represent in general. And also, I really only want to speak about black men because I really only am going to speak about, myself, our collective, and the black issues. A lot of times I always say, I don't really care about the white problems, like, no offense. But I do feel as a collective, we might be behind in some things at times. Sometimes it's because of our own choices, and sometimes it isn't. But what makes the top tier man and average woman lies not only with us, but it lies with y'all. You know how many, excuse my French, bad bitches I knew from back in the day that got pregnant early by fucking with these ain't shit niggas that they were stuck on? Then they turn around and see he ain't shit as soon as the pregnancy occurs, like the pregnancy is some fucking CNI glasses. And because they realize he ain't got his shit together and he never gonna get it together and he ain't really that good of a person, the next nigga who comes around who has the basics, as the girl was trying to say, is elevated to a higher level because the original nigga you was fucking with ain't shit. Or as the young kids say, the nigga ain't got no riz. What's the thing I always say? Bitches love a stepdaddy and bitches love their second baby daddy. Always. I feel like, the whole double standard shit is something that I'm going to continue saying forever and probably multiple times as long as I have this platform or any platform. Because I'm a nigga and I'm going to repeat myself because that's what we do. But there's a fucking double standard in life. I'm tired of this notion that life doesn't have double standards. It always has. Everybody has a role to play. And yes, the roles can be blurred at times nowadays because of societal changes living in a capitalist country. But everybody has a role. Motherfucker's going to say, oh, if the man cooks or take care of the kids, he's such a good dad. But if a woman cooks or take care of the kids, It's just normal. Or stupid. Life ain't exactly fucking even. This is why normally the men are the ones who paying all the bills, leading the household. All of that shit y'all women claim y'all want in your soft girl era. Soft girl era ain't nothing but my mama took care of me. I don't want to be responsible and take care of stuff. I want someone else to take care of me in that same capacity. So all I have to worry about is these normal household duties while simultaneously ordering mad fucking boxes from Amazon. That's all that shit is. You can't complain about a double standard for everyday average shit when in your everyday average life, you want the double standard. Miss Soft Girl Era. If there's no double standard and we want to be exactly equal, then fine. Pay the fucking mortgage. Open my door. Keep this shit even, my nigga. You can't complain about a double standard when it doesn't benefit you, then welcome it when it benefits you. All that I'm just a girl bullshit that's on the internet is part of the double standard that you welcome. Because I tell you this, and it's funny because I've seen this from a meme a few times about like a dyke during moving day. And it said like, where the meme is like, nah, you ain't no girl no more. Put the vase down and go pick up that couch, nigga. If we want to keep things exactly the fucking same, go pick up a motherfucking couch. And to the ones who say, you know, they want a male that is equivalent to them, as in what they bring to the table, like, I understand wholeheartedly. I don't think you want to downgrade to somebody who isn't on your level, you know, for compatibility purposes. But realistically, a lot of this goes into a monetary thing because nobody wants a Tyrone and nobody wants a homosexual on their couch. But honestly, if you keep it to those standards where you're looking for this exact equivalency, that list is going to be very, very, very fucking narrow. And now in that post, there was actually, I think, a black girl that said something to what the Asian girl was saying, and she was going on, and I didn't want to play all that shit. But she was basically saying how niggas in the comments was cooking her, telling her that it was impossible to find somebody to match what she has. I don't know what she has to say if it was impossible or not, but you know, if it was low, then that does look bad for us, but I'm going to assume she's doing okay. So maybe that's why everybody was saying it wasn't possible. But I think a lot of times we have to understand finding these exact equivalencies are going to be tough because it's not even based on the strength of the person themselves or the men not stepping up. But for the women, the numbers ain't really in y'all favor. I mean, I'm just being real. The numbers really ain't in y'all favor. Let's just take this example. Let's just say you're a woman, right? And I'm going to use this example and say you're pretty successful. So you are a $200K a year salary woman. Like, your pool is going to be very fucking slim if you're looking for exact matches. Like, mathematically, like, this shit's probably just not going to work. So let's just hypothetically take the percentage of men who make 200K, right? So it's a match, 200 for 200. Let's subtract the non-black men making that type of money. Then outside of the non-black men, let's take outside the married ones. Then outside of the married ones, let's take away the one that want to be bachelors. Then outside of those ones, let's take away the ones who are on some pause shit. Then outside of that, take out the ones who want to be one of y'all. Then outside of that, take away the cornball, not good looking, or ugly Tom ass motherfucker. Let's just put them all in a category. Then finally, take away the ones who don't even think you attractive enough or you ain't got enough ass. What do you think the percentage is or the probability is that you find someone to match your exact energy, at least monetary wise? Real fucking slim, nigga. And without knowing this as a true fact, this next thing I'm gonna say, I feel like there's more women on this earth than men anyways. I don't know that to be true, but I just feel like it. So, I mean, you know, my feelings aren't exactly correct. I could be wrong totally here, but I feel like what I see. I mean, even if I think about Hampton, what was it, 14-to-1 ratio? I mean, granted, that was a long time ago. I think it's something similar now, but 14-to-1 ratio. It's more y'all than us. So, I mean, even if you take, okay, that was all black, even though there was a sprinkle of people in there, all black college. So let's say, or even in society, you know, black woman, you want a black man, but it don't work out. So you expand your horizons. And let's say you want to play in the snow or go foreign. That's going to be tough too. Because that's when cultural things come in, et cetera, et cetera. It just might not work out. So at the end of the day, I've always taken collective ownership of the black man in general to say that, we do have a lot of work to do collectively. Because honestly, certain people of certain statures probably do have it a little bit easier when they do have their shit together because we are maybe catapulted to a certain level, but that still doesn't mean that there isn't a little bit of self-sabotage with that also. I'm going to take ownership of that collectively for the black urban millennials or the black men in general, but I'm not about to sit up here on my platform and watch this shit and let a motherfucker get off that top tier man is the average woman. Because I tell you one thing, this top tier shit over here ain't nothing over here average about this shit, bitch. July's been a sad month, man, with so many people passing, from, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Bobby Jenks, James Carter, Cathcart, and even Ozzy Osbourne. Like, RIP to them all. Hulk Hogan even passed away last week. And, one thing I will say that stood out differently from the rest of them was that, everybody else kind of got a quick RIP. But with Hulk Hogan, man, the internet had very mixed reviews. Maybe mixed reviews isn't the right word, but let's just say mixed reactions about it. I think the reactions were mixed because, we all grew up watching WWF, NWO, all that wrestling shit. Hulk Hogan was probably the most recognized wrestler out of all of that shit, or arguably, you know what I mean? So anytime someone passes that was part of your childhood, it kind of makes you say, like, damn, niggas is getting older. Like, the heroes are starting to go away. But, if you don't know, the controversy was because, like, a while ago, and I honestly don't even know the story exactly, but I know there were some racist remarks made. So because of whenever those racist remarks were made, people are like, oh, he died? Well, hey, fuck him, right? And, to be honest, speaking for myself, I personally feel that, this is just one of those situations where, you're entitled to feel how you feel. I'm not going to sit up here and act like, this white man was my childhood hero or anything. But my initial thought, honestly, was, goddamn, Hulk Hogan passed. Not, oh, y'all better not be posting about it because of what he said. I think, part of that is because at this point in my life, I'm just kind of sort of under the impression that, and I don't want to use the word all, but I just want to say I don't think most white people really like us. And we just kind of have to either say fuck it and not care, where we just pay it no mind at all, or we just give the benefit of the doubt until they show us otherwise. Let me tell you a story. So I remember when I worked on the railroad, and for those who know me on a real personal level, know my first job out of Hampton was being a railroad supervisor, or a train master, as it's what it was called. Crazy responsibility, crazy hours, like, but a legit, manager at the age of 23, making pretty fucking good money for 2011. You know what I mean? So one thing people don't really know is that, in this, I call it this underground world, because nobody knows what the fuck happens with trains, right? But one way to really get promoted is you have to kind of move around a lot and see other areas of the system or the network, really just for the experience. Because you have like yards, switch yards, road territories, hump yards, etc. Like it's different areas of understanding, like trade-offs with foreign railroads, as you'd call it, like dealing with different, like it's just so much to see because it's a huge enterprise. So to get promoted, you kind of got to move around. You can't just stay in one area. And 9 times out of 10, it's kind of like, I hate to compare anything to the military, but like one day you might just get randomly called like, hey, we moving you here. So it definitely can kind of put you on edge. And I just was not a big fan of that. But hey, man, I did what I had to do. So like part of that is even why part of my adult life, I just felt like a fucking gypsy for half of it. Because I'm fresh out of school. I went to Hampton, which wasn't my hometown. So I moved there. I pretty much moved every year when I was in Hampton. Then I get out of Hampton. My training is in Dayton, Ohio. So I'm training there for like a year. Then I went to Detroit for like a month or two because they thought they were going to keep me there, but then I ended up coming back to Dayton. Then I got moved officially to Elkhart, Indiana, to the hump yard. Then I got a promotion and moved to Philly for about 18 months until I finally escaped this shit and got into like a normal job with a normal life. So trying to continue the story to get to my point before I lose you here. Once I got my promotion to Philly, and I guess there's actually two parts to the story, so bear with me, but you like the story, that's why you're here. Of course I said, I left Elkhart, but during the course of being there, the greatest thing that happened was that I made two very, very close friends who we worked in the same terminal as me, and these is like still my brothers to this day. And one of them was still there only for about a month, because after I left, he was getting promoted as well. So we left like a month apart. But because he was still there, I'm still checking in with him, getting a scoop about what's going on in the terminal, because even when he was going to be promoted, he was going to be technically on the same division because he was going to Detroit. So he told me how this white supervisor we had, and he was mad cool. Like, dude was the coolest supervisor I probably had up until that point. Like, really fucking laid back and everything. Apparently something happened. I don't know what the fuck happened, but apparently something happened, and he got upset with one of the new guys that joined, and he said this either out loud or somebody heard him or on the radio or something. Some shit like, I be sick and tired of these nigger train masters. So like, of course, like, this was heard, he got reported, escorted off the property, like they got him out of there ASAP, like they don't play that shit. And to me, it was wild because I'm just like, goddamn, like I just said, like, dude was mad cool. Like, not even on no country bumpkin cool, hey, you all right, country bumpkin guy. Like, he was on some laid back, smooth, like Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing as Negan type shit. Like legit. So like, meanwhile, like that goes on. So meanwhile, yeah, I'm in my new role. I'm in Philly, and it's me, my current supervisor, and our assistant was out one night to do some night rule checks. Man, this shit used to be crazy, man. Like, we used to have to go out, like, on our own crews at night and do a certain amount of rule checks at night. So we'd have to go out and like hide in the bushes and shit and watch these train crews work, and we would see if we can catch them breaking some rules so we could write them up and shit. And I hated doing this shit, man, because I mean, one, I hate looking for shit. Anybody that knows me, I hate looking for anything. If you tell me it's on the counter, I'm gonna look on the counter. That bitch could be on the couch, but I ain't looking on the couch because I hate looking for stuff. So I don't want to be watching these niggas looking, number one. And also, two, that shit was just way too police for me. Like, if I'm being honest, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, as long as they do what they got to do and they ain't breaking shit, that's the main thing. And I guess that's the point of making sure they're not breaking rules. They don't fuck nothing up. But the main thing was, if you didn't bust motherfuckers, they used to be on you, like on some cop shit. Way too police for me. But anyways, one night we were out and we stopped in this diner. And I think it was like outside of Reading, PA. Our territory stretched from Reading to Philly. Then our crews took trains to the Yard and King of Prussia, down to Old Conroe, shared assets in Jersey, even some shared track and CSX. Maybe even have to take some crude oil trains on the SEPTA line at night when it was running to Eddystone. Philly people know what the fuck SEPTA is, what I'm talking about. But anyways, we're at this diner, and these teenagers were there. Black teenagers, had to be about 16 years old. I'm not quite sure what happened, but there ended up being a dispute with, I'm assuming he was one of the cooks or one of the hosts behind the counter. But all I know is that we were there in this truck. We pulled up to go into the diner. This cook or whatever walks out behind these teenagers and says something along the lines of, that's right, you're being ignorant or don't want to pay because you're nothing but some fucking niggers. Some fucking niggers. So I'm thinking to myself, like, did I hear what I just thought I heard? Because my supervisor, he was a black dude who was like a year older than me. And I mean, sidebar, we really didn't get along. I don't know why. I think it's that male Scorpio shit I always talk about where somebody ego gonna feel away and it's never mine. But anyways, we go into this place to eat after the boys left. These boys pull back up with their father. Pops up there, I'm assuming probably ready to beat some ass, dog somebody, do something. But the workers are all vouching for this white man, saying, oh, he's not here. He left already. Looking out for their own, right? As always. So we sitting here at the bar of the diner watching this shit. And dude I work with, he's basically like, hey man, that dude ain't leave. He in the back. So, you can't, I mean, the father couldn't do anything. Dude's in the back. He's not going to run back there and get arrested. I mean, that would just be stupid, right? So eventually he leaves, and then the cowardly ass cook comes back out. But I think, when he said what he said, he didn't realize that we were in the car or nearby. I think he realized that seeing us sitting out there. So then he's just like, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I was just so upset. And all this other bullshit. So, we ignore him, finish eating the food, and then we left. But, I mean, to make a super long story less long, I just, circling back, I just want to say that, I don't know if any of them really liked us or respect us on the law. You know, like even when I'm at work, I feel like sometimes I'm saying things 1,000% clear, accurate, but I feel like they can't get it because I have a African American vernacular, and I'm not talking in slang, but I'm not talking like Mr. Joe Bob from Montana. Like I don't, it's like they only understand that, and other people are like that too. But I'm just gonna continue to be me and do my thing because I'm saying things as clear as day. You don't understand? Fuck you. And I think even on another sidebar, by assuming that, hey, are you really a fan of me? Do you really get along with who I am and what I represent? I think that's why when you compare the regions, you're like in the North, it's like blue collar racism or like white collar racism. Where like, they're just gonna not like you on the low and not promote you. But then like down South, like it's like more like blue collar where they're like, fuck y'all, and they flying the flags and shit. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I think that I'd rather just know up front instead of just being some shit on the low. You know what I'm saying? You snaking me for pay or promotions or whatever the fuck. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm a straight shooter. But honestly, like I said, I think we just gotta pick our favorites, similar to how we do dogs, and find fondness about them. Or just don't like any at all. And, I will say, I think it's easy to find that fondness for someone who was in your life on TV while you were a child and who was extremely relevant in the pop culture of not only the United States, but the fucking world. The world, Craig. So I'll say RP to Hulk Hogan because I can always do what I got to do and try to be a better person. And you always want to respect the dead. But I will say this, though. You're not Ric Flair, my guy. Woo!
Thanks for listening to the FMFU podcast. Follow me on Facebook at FMFU Experience. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at FMFU_experience. Also check me out on Twitch for some Warzone action at ReesePup007. Remember people, life is a series of choices. Just make sure you make the right one. Peace.